fall of the Soviet Union, a dramatic tale of power, rebellion, and collapse. It was December 25, 1991. The Soviet flag, a powerful symbol of communist dominance for nearly 7 decades, was lowered from the Kremlin for the last time. In its place, the Russian tricolor rose, signaling the end of an empire. But how did a superpower that controlled 1/6 of the Earth's landmass collapse so suddenly? Let's uncover the thrilling story of the Soviet Union's disintegration. The USSR was built on a fragile foundation, a collection of 15 republics, each with its own unique ethnic identity, language, and history, held together by centralized control. Beneath the surface, dissatisfaction brewed for decades, exacerbated by economic stagnation and political oppression. By the 1980s, the Soviet-planned economy was crumbling. Industrial production slowed, consumer goods were scarce, and black markets thrived. While the USSR was pumping billions into the arms race, its citizens were queuing for bread. Republics like Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia began to demand independence, fueled by suppressed cultural identities. The Baltic states' bold, singing revolution saw thousands of citizens holding hands in a 600-kilometer human chain, peacefully demanding freedom. When Mikhail Gorbachev became the General Secretary in 1985, he envisioned reviving the USSR through reforms. His policies, perestroika, economic restructuring, and glasnost, political openness, were groundbreaking but destabilizing. Instead of unifying the nation, Gorbachev's reforms unleashed a wave of dissent that spread like wildfire. Citizens realized the state couldn't protect them, igniting further disillusionment. As Soviet influence in Eastern Europe waned, the domino effect reached the USSR. In a desperate attempt to preserve the USSR, hardline communist leaders staged a coup against Gorbachev, placing him under house arrest in Crimea. They deployed tanks in Moscow, hoping to crush resistance. The charismatic Russian leader climbed onto a tank outside the Russian parliament, calling on citizens to resist the coup. The image of Yeltsin defying the coup became iconic. The coup collapsed within days as soldiers refused to fire on civilians, and protesters overwhelmed the hardliners. The failed coup weakened Gorbachev's authority and emboldened the independence movements. December 25, 1991, Gorbachev resigned, and the Soviet Union was no more.